Greetings, everyone. This is the Crunchy Set, and this is a what if that had been requested to me a while back. And the person who requested it had also made the thumbnail they see right here for it. And this will be: what if female Deku was the feared daughter of a druglord? Now, before the story begins, let me set a few things up. So, this will sort of be like a combination of DC and the My Hero universe. And Izumi will have been born in America, more specifically Gotham, rather than in Japan. And she'll look like how she does in the thumbnail. Okay, so we shall begin our story now. So we open up in the Gotham slums as Inko returns from another failed job interview, as a 4-year-old Izumi would run over, and she'd ask, Mommy, did you get the job? As Inko would say, No, unfortunately I didn't. I got turned down again. As Izumi would say, Well, don't worry, Mommy. You can get it the next time. I know it. As Inko would just smile faintly, as she would then say, Thank you, Izumi. I needed that. So, a couple months go by as Inko would apply for more and more job interviews, but would end up not being accepted for these jobs. And as one day, as Inko was headed home from another failed interview, somebody would end up accidentally dropping their gun. And I'll say this was a Joker gang member. Yeah, this was a Joker's gang member. As Inko would pick it up for safety reasons in case the house was broken into. As Inko would then continue to go through more and more job interviews and fails a lot of them, until eventually one day Inko would end up committing not alive. I'm not allowed to say the actual word because that's how my videos get taken down or age restricted. Anyway, so Inko commits not alive, and Izumi is basically finds this, as she is quite saddened by this. Now, Izumi is like in canon. No, she's not like in canon. She does have a quirk, but it is dormant. It's dormant, as she would eventually, after a couple days of mourning the loss of Inko, Izumi would eventually move out of the house, taking the gun that she had found with her. Now, the gun has 2 bullets left. Yeah, it has Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. As Izumi would leave the house, she would basically walk around the entirety of Gotham City, as she's basically looking for help or somebody to look after her, as everybody is basically ignoring her, as a lot of people are thinking, a hero will come and sort this out, I don't need to do anything. As Izumi basically finding that nobody would help her, she would eventually take stuff into her own hands, as one day she was feeling very hungry, as she would end up finding she would find a butcher's place, as she would look down at the gun that she has in a bag, as she would think, I gotta do this. If I don't, I'll starve. As Izumi would walk into the store and point the gun at the butcher, demanding any of the meats that he has, as he would basically, the butcher would end up giving Izumi some meat. So he would give her some sausage and some sirloin and all that. As Izumi would then run off, as once she left, some pro heroes and police officers were on site, as Izumi would see this and immediately begin to move out of the area. As Izumi would continue doing this for about 3 years. So she would basically rob places for either food or money or basic needs. As one day, she would end up stealing from a major crime ring. As I'll say it was a fair amount of money that she stole. No, a fair amount of money and one block of no snow. Yeah, I'm using no snow. Anyway, as a thug would have noticed that one of the blocks of no snow would have gone missing, as he would have then ran into his boss's office, as he would say, boss, what, somebody stole some of our I'm not going to say some of our stuff. As the boss would then say, and who was it that stole from us? As the thug would say, I don't know, but we have a tracker on it, so we just have to follow it. As he would say, good. Now, as his boss would pull out a gun and shoot him in the head, as he would say, I've had enough of this. You bring shame to the Black Mask organization. As Black Mask would then turn around, as he would then stand up and say, you two, come with me. As these two were some of Black Mask's ace enforcers. So, yeah, they were both Black Mask's ace enforcers, as he would take them with him to take back his stuff. As a couple of hours would go by, as they would end up finding where their stuff was. As it will be in an abandoned warehouse. Yeah, it was in an abandoned warehouse, as Black Mask had ordered one of his thugs to kick the door down. As Izumi heard them on the outside, so she's basically hiding. As the two of Black Mask's enforcers would then walk into the warehouse. wondering where it is. As Izumi is basically sneaking around trying to get out, until one of Black Mask's enforcers would end up finding her. So Izumi is about seven, I believe. Yeah, hold on, give me a second. Yeah, she's 7. As one of Black Mask's enforcers would basically find her, and then basically grab her by the back of her collar. As he'd yell out, "Hey boss, I found this runt here. I think you're the one who stole our stuff." As Izumi would then end up pulling out the gun she has and killing and shooting shooting Black Mask's enforcer in the head, as she would then drop down to the ground, as another one would try to pull out his gun, but Izumi ends up firing hers first, taking him out. As Black Mask was watching this, as he is very impressed with Izumi's skill, as Izumi would be running to get away from them, as Black Mask is basically running after her by herself, because he knew if he sent his thugs after her, his thugs would basically end up killing her, as he would end up catching up to Izumi and end up knocking her out. As a couple hours later, Izumi wakes up in a strange place, in a very fancy bedroom. As she's looking around, she is wondering where she is, as Black Mask would walk through. Hold on. Sorry about that. As Black Mask would then say, "I'm quite impressed with your skills, young one. You managed to take out 2 of my top enforcers with only 2 bullets left in that magazine. I'm very impressed." As Izumi would be scared and ask, Who are you? Where am I?" As Black Mask would say, "Well, I am Black Mask, and where you are at my mansion, and the reason you are here is because you had personally stolen from me. Now, the normal procedure of what I do is usually just have some of my goons beat a person down to teach them a lesson. But you, kid, you have skill that I could use in my operations. And now, thing is, as Izumi would say, so are you my new dad then?" As Black Mask would then say, "To be honest, I'm not sure. I am not sure. Now tell me, where is your mother?" As Izumi would look down in sadness, as she'd say, she's dead. She's been dead for 3 years." As Black Mask would sort of feel sorry for her. Sort of, look, this is my wife, so if you guys want to complain about it, then you can. You're free to do so. Anyways, Black Mask would say, "Sure, I guess I'll be your new dad." As Izumi would feel happy, since she hadn't felt that way in in almost 3 years. As a couple years would go by, as Izumi would sort of like head some of Black Mask's operations, as she has had a few run-ins with other heroes like Batman and Nightwing and Red Hood, but she managed to deal with all of them. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. As at the age of 18 years old, Black Mask calls her into his office. So Izumi looks like how she does in the image behind the thumbnail. As Izumi would walk in, as she'd say, "So, you wanted to see me, father?" As Black Mask would say, "Yes, Izumi, I did." As he would then walk up and look out the window, all sort of sinister-like, as he'd say, as you know, I'm getting older, and I won't be able to run these operations for much longer like I used to in my younger years." Sorry about that. As Black Mask would then continue by saying, "Now, I know as my daughter, you will eventually end up taking over this business in the future. So, I'd like you, as a form of practice, I have a branch that is operational in Japan, and I would like you to run it over there in Japan as sort of like a form of practice for the future." As Izumi would be surprised by this, as she'd say, "You really? I never actually thought that it would be so soon. I mean, I've only been running some of the smaller operations, not running an entire branch. This is a bit of a step up." As Black Mask would then say, "You are my daughter, and I know you'll be able to run this." Now, at this point, Izumi's quirk had awakened. It is known as... Give me a second. Actually, she has two quirks. One is called Aimbot, and you guys basically know what that is. It basically allows her to hit targets with 100% accuracy. So it's sort of like Snipe's quirk, but better. It's because she can actually see through walls as well. And her second quirk is called Dominating Bloodlust, as basically that basically allows her to project her large amount of bloodlust, as any person who feels it would immediately fall to their knees in submission. As Black Mask would then say, "With your two very powerful quirks, I know you'll be able to run that branch like it is the back of your own hand." As Izumi would then say, "Thank you, father. I will be willing to take up this offer." As she would then say, "When will I be leaving then?" As Black Mask would then turn around, as he would say, "You'll be leaving in a month. So best get some of your supplies ready for then." As Izumi would say, yes, father, I will." As Izumi would then walk off to finish up some business that she has, as they basically kidnap the guy who is basically caught trying to assassinate Izumi. As she would then basically say, she'd look at the guy, she would say, "So, You're the one who tried to kill me. It's a real shame that you won't get a second chance. As she pulls out her gun. Now, I'll say Izumi has a Glock, and to sort of like fit with her aesthetic, the Glock is black. She would pull it out and fire it into the guy. As she'd say, as she's walking out, she says to the two guards at the door, she'd say, "Clean that mess up in there, and it better be completely spotless by the time I get back." As they would both say, "Yes, ma'am," as they would then run in and begin to dispose of the body. Now, this is where I'm going to leave this part off. I do hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you all tomorrow with a possible High School DxD what if, because I've recently started watching it again. Anyways, ta-ta.